the raw food diet exposed. What needs to be exposed? What is the raw food diet? What are raw foods? What is a diet? Let's start from the beginning and keep it really simple. Raw foods. Pull a carrot out of the ground and you're still holding it in your hand, it's raw carrot. If you boil that carrot or steam it or fry it in a frying pan or barbecue it, it's not raw anymore. I think we all understand what that means. One thing that's really important about this diet and lifestyle is that it's not the same for everyone. In the same way that everyone should exercise, nobody has the same exercise routine. Something really worth looking out for is subjectivity and objectivity. You'll see a lot of people out there preaching this raw food diet who don't remember to tell you that everything they say is their opinion. And when there's all these people who are really aspiring to try this diet and try to get healthier and looking up to these people who have been doing this for a while, they just take it all literally and don't remember that these people who are preaching this information have been eating this way for a long time. So they've acclimated themselves and they're used to the way that they're eating. Now I'm going to do some name dropping here, and it is out of no disrespect and only to really promote these people because I like the information that they're providing, and maybe it'll be a good reminder for them to remember to tell people that this is their opinion. Everything they say, even everything I say in a video, I really should have before every video starts, this is my opinion. Everything you are about to hear is my opinion. So people like Matt Monarch, I love Matt Monarch. I watch their videos every day, and Matt's been raw for 12 years. I think more than that now. Matt has a very specific diet, and he is very clean. He's clean to the point where he can't even eat certain things or he would be so sick, you can't even imagine. And it's really easy though to watch one of his videos and listen to him talk about, maybe all he ate one day was just coconut water and then a small green smoothie and that's it. Now some, youngster like myself or someone else aspiring to attain this level of health in this diet might try drinking coconut water all day and just a green smoothie. And they're going to feel terrible, and they might even decide to never try raw foods again because of this bad experience, when really, if they would have taken into consideration the fact that Matt only eats this way because it has taken him a long time to get there. It really comes down to figuring out what works for you. And the best way to do that is to take all this information from all these people who have figured out what works for themselves and apply it to you in your own way. For example, my friend Harley, Durian Writer, who I did a wonderful interview with, which you can watch right here. It was a beautiful interview. We got lots of information covered. He eats mostly fruit. And when I mean mostly fruit, I mean mostly fruit. He is also a professional cyclist. He rides his bike more than anyone you probably know in a day. And therefore, fruits are working great for him. Therefore, if you're not a very active person, eating all kinds of fruit may not be optimal for you. It's perfect for Harley, but it might not be optimal for you. The only way to figure that out, though, is to try it. There's other people like Daniel Vitalis. Daniel Vitalis eats meat, he eats animal products, he eats vegetables, he eats fruit, he eats grains, nuts, and seeds. He eats the whole thing because it works for him. He has a very specific lifestyle that he's accustomed to, so he tailors his diet accustomed to that lifestyle. Therefore, since you are not Daniel Vitalis, and don't do the exact same things that Daniel Vitalis does every day, you are not going to eat just like he does. So what am I really getting at with this? Well, I'm sure you figured it out already. And the idea is to eat what feels best for you. Listen to the guy who only eats fruit, and listen to what he has to say about fruit. Listen to the guy who only eats greens, and listen to what he has to say about greens. Listen to the people who eat dairy, and eat eggs, and eat meat, and listen to what they have to say about that. The only way to have a true opinion on something is if you take everyone else's opinion into consideration as well and choose for yourself. One thing that's also important to remember is if you're taking health advice from someone who completely throws out the opinions of others and doesn't allow them, then you might want to second guess who you're taking your health advice from. Someone who does not allow everyone else to spread their information as well is obviously not comfortable enough with their own information. If you truly feel like what you were doing is the right thing, then no matter what anybody else is doing, you're going to keep doing it, and you're not going to be worried about what these other people are saying about what's right for them. Where to start? Well, I would suggest, as my opinion, to try to eat whatever you want, and notice how you feel when you eat it. A good tip for that, of course, is to start from a clean slate. If you have been eating 3 or more solid meals every day for your whole life, and really want to start noticing how foods affect your body, you're going to have to allow yourself to finish all that off. And that might take a few days of a mostly liquid diet, or taking some laxatives, or just taking some supplements, or just eating some whole foods that are really going to help clean you out. Try eating just a whole melon for breakfast and see how you feel. Or the next day, try eating a salad for breakfast and see how you feel. Or the next day, try eating 2 avocados or 3 avocados. You know, it really comes down to trial and error. And that's why these people like Matt Monarch and Daniel Vitalis and Harley the Durian Rider, who have been doing this stuff for so long, have figured out what works for them. It's what works for them. Now, what works for you might be very similar and follow very, very similar guidelines, but you're only going to know that until you've been doing it long enough to where you feel truly comfortable. Now, I'm going to give a shout out here to my friend Zach Martin. His channel is called Secrets of Longevity, and as far as being objective and respecting everybody's opinion, he is really on top of his game. He has tons of amazing information and really allows you to make the decision for yourself. He provides the information, doesn't tell you what's best for you, he tells you what's best for him and what's best for maybe that people he's met or people he's worked with, and which allows you to come up with your own conclusion from that information. Okay, let's get right into this. 100% raw. Now, there are a lot of arguments as to what really defines raw food. Some people say dehydrated foods aren't raw foods. Some people say packaged foods aren't even raw foods. Or dried fruit aren't raw foods. Now, you have to come up with that decision for yourself. And regardless of the labels, you can eat as much raw as you want and find out what works for you. Now, another thing that is my opinion is that I think an optimally healthy, sustainable diet is mostly raw foods. And I've only come up with that opinion because I've been eating mostly raw foods for enough time to realize that it makes me feel amazing. But I will never keep myself closed-minded. For all I know, a year from now, keeping up with this high raw food diet, I might start feeling really bad, get a blood test done and find out I'm deficient in all sorts of things, and realize that I needed more cooked foods, or I needed more steamed vegetables, or maybe I just needed to pay attention to how I was eating. That's another thing important with raw foods, is noticing how you eat your food, really chewing your food. There's only a few specific places where certain types of foods are digested in your body. Some are only digested in your small intestine. Some are only digested in your stomach. Some are only digested through your saliva and in your mouth. So do some research on that. And that probably is the most important aspect of any health endeavor, is research. And that applies to being objective. What is research? Research is listening to what somebody else has to say about their own research. And their own research is just them reading or listening or watching what somebody else had to say to them. And I'm sure you've noticed the opinions in the research have gotten refined and more refined and more refined. And that's probably because there's some truth eking its way through this whole bit of information. So what did we really expose in this video? We exposed that it's very easy to be distracted and be lured into someone's opinions thinking that they are right for you, when in reality, you need to take in their opinion as an opinion and take in other opinions as well to formulate your own opinion. So you can't say a single thing about raw foods until you've tried them, and you can't tell people how to eat because they're not you. All you can do is tell people what works best for you and what works best for people that you know. So I wish you the best of luck on your health journey, and may you not be distracted or persuaded by the regimes of others who are only on their health journey as well and trying to do the best they can.